Let's go. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We need to go into executive session. I need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session in accordance with Idaho Code Section 74206. The board may elect to hold an executive session to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent or public school student.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, and I assume there's no discussion, so Hillary?
Aye.
And JD?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Kirsty, and I'm aye also. So. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. It'll come up on you. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda tonight?
Make a motion to approve the
Do
agenda.
you have a second?
Second.
All right, and I don't think there's any discussion, so go ahead, Kirsty.
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD? Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay. Celebrations tonight.
Oh, that's me, yes. I wanted to just say a welcome to our new administrators that joined us for the Kuna School District. And some of them were able to come tonight, but they do need to leave because we're doing kindergarten screeners.
Oh.
And we're also doing some other things at the middle school. So I'm gonna introduce those that were able to come tonight real quick, and then they're gonna probably pop out. But we are very, very grateful that they are here tonight. And so first, we've got Ty Harding. Ty is our new principal.
up.
Sure, Ty, that'd be great.
Hi, nice to meet you, Ty.
Ty Harding, our new principal at Silver Trail. And then we have Anita Wilson, who is our new principal at Kuna Middle School. And our new VP at Kuna Middle School, Joe Pepley. So we're very grateful for them. And then in the back, we've got Chuck Severson. I always want to say Stevenson, yes. Yes. And Chuck is, yes, and he is at Hubbard, and I know that he just did a short walk over here because they're doing kinder screeners, and so Andrea said, please hurry back. So we're very grateful for those that could come tonight, but we are really excited about our new team. Last week we had some fun together, and got some things going with our theme. And so I just want to say thank you guys for coming tonight. I know you're busy, and I know that you've got to run, so thanks for being here tonight. Okay.
And I want to say welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're excited to have you as we start this year, and I look forward to
Yeah.
working with you guys. So thank you.
They've already been doing some good things too,
Great.
so, yeah. So thank you guys very much. Yeah. Okay, so if you got to run, you
All right.
guys know. Yeah.
We're pretty simple
I
here. If you gotta
promised,
go, go.
I promised that they didn't, yeah.
All right. And,
And Brian's gonna do this part.
Okay.
Mhm.
So more congratulations here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like, trustees, we have a group of young men who had a really good summer. I know that they were the 8U state champions, and with that, they were allowed to go to a national tournament that they're currently at. So we're gonna try to make sure that these young men come and visit with us in September and tell us about how their summer went. But when you're involved in CUNA youth sports, we usually take care of Nova as well. So there's some of these kids that aren't ours, but the ones that are definitely highlighted for you. And again, we're gonna invite these kids here in September. We do a really good job of appreciating and celebrating our high school kids when they do really cool things, but this will be a fun group to celebrate. With that, we definitely want whoever's listening and our principals to know that if there's stuff going on that we miss or we don't know about that your kids have done something amazing, let us know because we want to celebrate them. Another one of our younger athletes who will he be at the high school next year?
No, he's in
Not yet.
going in 8th grade.
You don't want to make them older than they have to be. Had a really good summer as well. And we could lean on maybe one of his coaches to talk to about him a little bit too, but to be recognized at that national level, it's a big deal. So it looks like third, and that's probably the coach's fault, honestly. This kid probably would have been a national champion.
Wow.
Yeah,
Need to work on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But what a cool deal. So he's got really good neighbors too.
So,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
So we just wanted to celebrate some of our younger athletes, and so the expectations on the high school are pretty high. when these guys get up there.
Yeah.
But there's some good athletes in
Yeah.
this school.
Yeah, 9 Kuna athletes, it says. That's
Mhm.
awesome. So, all right.
Okay.
Reports and the theme for this year?
So, last week we had we met with our administrators, and we started off, I talked a little bit about, last year, because we had, to make a cut in the 2.3, it seems like years ago, right? It seems like many years ago, but that's how we started a year ago. And we were like, we gotta just find our way through this, and we gotta survive. And then we passed an emergency levy, and then we passed a levy, and things started to look much better for us. And Brad, of course, was helping us as we were finding different funds that added to our general fund balance, and things were looking good. So we said, we're going to, our theme this year is gonna be one step at a time, because the board has asked us, me, to raise our math and reading by 2% across the board. All right, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot when you look at that all the way across. Also, our legislature has put some demands on us, laws, we've got the cell phones, we've got a bunch of different things. We cannot accomplish it all at once. So we have talked to our administrators about, let's just take one step at a time. We can't do it all in September. We can't do it all at the beginning of the year. We can't put it all on our teachers. There's no curriculum. There's all these things that we've got to figure out. But we can do it together if we just move forward together and take one step at a time. Sometimes we're going to have to pause for a moment, but we're going to keep moving forward. And everybody's liked our theme so far, because we're trying to move together and take a step together, and do the work that we know that you've asked us to do, asked me to do and accomplish. And it's been kind of fun to see the reactions of that. And part of that is also, like we were sharing these celebrations, we want to keep celebrating the good too, and show people who Kuna is. And let's celebrate those good things of our little kids and our big kids. And we're going to be sharing stories also from teachers and administrators about differences that they make with kids. So we've got some good goals, but we know our main goal for the board is raising our reading and math, which is very important. That's a very important goal. So we take it seriously, but our theme then is just let's take a step at a time.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's really important that we tell our story.
Yeah.
I think the community needs to know what we're doing here. I think that's really important. I also think it's important because we had talked about, we're looking at all of those things that cause behavior issues in the classroom. And as a board, we really want to
Yeah.
support that and support
Yeah.
our teachers. So that's one step at a time too. And I just want to
Exactly.
add that. I think it's a great theme, and I don't know who thought of it, but awesome. Anybody else want to say anything?
All of us,
Yeah.
yeah.
Way to go.
And in our next Tuesday, we have a speaker that's going to be talking to all of our staff. And he's going to go off of that theme too, but he was a 6th grade teacher. I shared, I think, a video with you, and when we shared that with the administrators, we shared it with the new teachers today too. And I think it's gonna be fun, and he's gonna help us set an encouraging start.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, Kim, this behavior support, because of us being able to do some extra things to help with behavior support, we've been able to hire some VPs and extra supports in our buildings to help us. So
Yeah.
that's been a really positive thing too.
And that's one step at a time, so we'll see how that all goes.
Yeah,
I think it's
they're good
great.
people, so.
Very good, so. All right, do we have any patrons who have signed up? All right, so we have 3 people to speak tonight. Just want to remind everyone that you'll have 3 minutes to address the board, that we can't speak back or ask questions at this time. And also, if there's any, we want to keep it no clapping or ooh or boo or whatever, just keep it really positive, and we want to listen to what our community has to say. So that being said, Jared Whiting, and he's going to talk about the 4th Street Gym.
got these for each one of you guys. All right, so one step at a time, I like that because this is something that I've thought about for a long time, and I've never really known how to address it. So this is kind of my first step to presenting this to you guys. I'll just kind of read, I had a bunch of thoughts, and I know that it's got to be at 3 minutes, so I'm just going to kind of read through the thoughts that I had, and you guys can kind of follow along. But I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Jared Whiting. This is my wife, Brooke. I've had the privilege of calling Kuna home my entire life. This community is part of who I am, and so is the 4th Street Gym. That gym holds a very special place in my heart. I grew up playing in it. My dad actually went to that high school where that gym is. And now my own children are playing in that gym. And that building has been more than a gym for our family. It's been a place where memories were made, values were learned, and the love of the game was born. But we all know that the 4th Street Gym is showing its age. It's been around for a while, but it's going to take some substantial investment to bring it up to code, financially, structurally, and logistically. And that burden doesn't need to fall on the school district. I'm here today to respectfully propose the purchase of the 4th Street Gym. I put a number there that you guys can look at. We're fully prepared to close within 10 days. I mean, we're ready to go. But more importantly, we're ready to assume full responsibility for the necessary upgrades, the repairs, and any of the expenses that come with that. We understand the scale of work that's required, and we're committing to preserving this space for future generations. Our vision is simple. It's to restore and vitalize the 4th Street Gym so that it can continue to serve CUNA kids, just as it served my family and so many others. We want it to be a space that fosters development, community, and passion for the game. As part of this proposal, we would also like to extend continued access to the gym for the school district during certain times to use for practices. As well as we want to make the IT department still available to use that for the 2025 school year with rent-free, maybe with some help with some utility expenses, that kind of stuff. Our intent is not to take this resource away from the community, but to breathe new life into it and make sure it remains a meaningful asset for years to come. This isn't just a financial investment, it's a personal one. It's about honoring the past, building the future, and giving back to the community that's given so much to my family. Thank you again for your time, and I appreciate all that you guys do for the kids and the district here. I know you guys do a lot. I've never been to a meeting, but I've watched them online and saw some of the discussions that you guys have had. So we really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate your time tonight. Like, I'm born and bred CUNA. I was 13-year club, started in kindergarten at Hubbard, graduated in '98. I love this place, and I love the 4th Street Gym, and I know it can be a burden because it is getting older, but it's an opportunity to do something that I love, but also help you guys as well. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. We have Brooke Whiting next to speak about the 4th Street Gym.
Okay, I actually wasn't even planning on coming up here to speak. I just started jotting things down on my phone as we were coming straight from Boise to here. But he was telling me, read to me what he was gonna say. And so I just kind of wanted you guys to see our vision and what we were thinking about with the 4th Street Gym. Jared and I have been married for 23 years, and we have 4 kids, and we're extremely, extremely close family. We all love basketball, and I don't play, but I love cheering for them and watching them play. In fact, the first thing we did when we moved into our house was we put a basketball court in our backyard, and that's hosted thousands of basketball games. My childhood wasn't spent here, but my children's has been. So you could say CUNA is special to our family. It is our home. Now for our vision for the 4th Street Gym. Throughout our whole married life, whenever there was a vacant building, Jared would look through the window and be like, wouldn't this be so cool if we could buy this and teach kids how to play basketball? He'd always say that. And years ago when it was for sale, he was like, wouldn't it be so cool if we could get it? And it didn't sell, and it's still here and we still use it, but he would always say that. Well, a few months ago, the opportunity came that we were able to take over Kuna Force, and we looked at each other like, do we want to do this? Okay, actually, we do want to do this, but we want to do it differently than it's ever been. We want it to be a place that is happy and that kids remember why they're playing basketball, because I feel like sports has gotten so aggressive and so just like, I mean, it's competitive and we want to be competitive, but we want it to be a place that kids like understand the power of their mind and how, what they can do with this positive affirmations and just helping them believe in themselves. But so we're doing it differently, and we need a space to be. Sorry, let me know if I go over.
You're fine.
And so I feel like not just with basketball and what we're doing there, I feel like it can also help like adults too. I mean, we could do pickleball, we could do volleyball, we could do so many different things. But I will assure you it's not about money. Like it has nothing to do with making money. Multiple people, we've only had the force going for this last springtime, and multiple people are like, when you build your empire, and we're like, we don't want it to be an empire. We want it to stay small. We want it to feel like our family, but like our basketball family, or we want to feel like that community. And so there's so many clubs out there, but we want this one to feel different. We want this space to feel different when you walk in the door, and we can make it ours and ours. That's it. That's all I have to say.
You
So
did
thank
great.
you.
You stopped
Thank
right
you.
when you're supposed
Yeah.
to.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. All right,
And then he gave us these documents.
Okay.
I think about financial.
okay. We'll pass those on. And then the last person is Brenda Blitman and the capital plan. And I forgot to have you, and I apologize. You're supposed to say your name and your address, so I apologize. Do I need to have the other two stand up and do that? Because that isn't our policy.
Oh, our name and our
Are we
address.
okay? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Sorry, my
Brooke Whiting.
bad.
Brooke Whiting, 1905 Garrison Lane, Kuna, Idaho.
Very
83634.
perfect.
Thanks.
And as long as I don't get in trouble.
Also, your address.
All right, good. It's good to know that you're both there. So, okay, so if you'll state your name and your address.
Brenda Blitman, 8460 South Locust Grove, and that's Meridian, Idaho, but I'm in the Kuna School District. And so I've been involved with the Capital Planning Committee, and one of the things I noticed is that it seems like the plan didn't include enough time to tell people about any sort of a bond. And so as you're looking for the next input from the next, if you're getting an outside consultant to help, I want to have that decision made so that there's at least 120 days between when the school board election is and when the bond is on the ballot. And especially if it's in the spring, it's a lot harder to go door to door because of the timing of the weather. It's dark earlier. So I would want there to be a minimum of 120 days from when you make the decision until the bond is on. If we do a bond, till the bond is on the docket. So that's my ask.
Thank you, Brenda, appreciate that. All right. And, all right. Just in time for the capital plan update. Jason?
Just go back for a quick second. You saw Q come in late. He's one of our new administrators. Just wanted to mention him, but obviously he needed to run out.
Okay.
They like even Michelle was like, they're way over on their kinder screeners, and so that it was really tight for our
And to
special
count.
elementary. But yeah, so.
Do you want to spell his name for us?
Is it
Q.
It said Quayshawn.
Kayshawn.
Kayshawn?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just wondered how.
Yeah.
He goes by Q though, really.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully.
That's easier.
Yeah.
You must have learned that early.
Yeah.
It's easier to spell Q on your paper than the Kishon, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Anyway,
shoot, we should have.
that's okay. That's okay. So we'll talk, Brenda, thank you so much for the lead into the capital plan conversation. Yeah, as you know, I've talked every month for the past few months about the progress we made, and even, lately, I think we've been spinning our wheels a little bit. Just kind of struggling to make some momentum and to really get a plan kind of honed in. I'm grateful that our group that's been coming together the last few months is probably a little more diverse than we've seen in the past. That's been nice, and we've got good feedback there from folks, but I think we're at a place now where it's like you've suggested, maybe relaunching the group with something that's not as bland as capital planning, right? Let's make a little more pizzazz to it, which I love, and I think, we're working on different ideas for that. But the other thing I wanted to talk about today, last month we took a break for the month of July. Our group didn't meet, but there was still work happening. You guys are all familiar with Michael Keith from Zions Bank that's presented to us many times, been in this room, presented to us over the last few years many times. And he's been coming to our capital planning meetings, and we've heard from him a couple months ago. He made a really impactful statement, and he said, that the kind of culture around public education today is different than it has ever been in the past, and he's been doing this for a long time. He said, in the past, we would have to, have to show the community, demonstrate the need for the building that we were asking for a bond for, or something like that. We still have to do that, but in addition to that, now we're kind of in a culture where we really need to be able to also demonstrate the need of public education, just in general. And so being able to tell our story is part of that. But also I think really we're in a spot where we need to get good feedback from our community. As you guys are all aware, in the past we ran a bond. It failed to meet the supermajority. It met the simple majority threshold. But since Idaho's the only state left in the country where we need that supermajority, we have even a steeper hill to climb than others. And so I think that left us in a place where we were impacted by Michael Keith's statement and just kind of looking at the culture and the climate that we're in. Michael Keith suggested, hey, why don't you talk to this consulting firm that he's worked with in the past that can help us get some feedback and do some surveys and things like that of our community. And I'll introduce Amy here in a minute, but I want to have her kind of share a little bit about what she does. But we reached out to Amy and her firm and got some feedback from them and heard about what they do. And I think we're in a place where we really want to take action on having them do phase one of what they would consider a two-phase project, where they're really skilled. This is what they do. They go out for municipalities and get feedback from your community, but also those folks for us that are really hard to connect with because we just don't have access to them is people that aren't part of our school district. They don't have kids in our district. They're not a parent or a grandparent or something like that. And so we need to hear from those folks, because I know that in the past, a lot of those folks are the ones that have not voted for our bonds. And so we need to hear what they want. And so I've reached out to Amy, and I'll invite you to come up. This is Amy Hawley. She's from Portman Square. She has a few slides to share with you, but we made a connection that we are both Boise Braves.
When they were Braves.
Boise High School, both of us Boise High graduates, which was fun to make that connection. But I'll let you share your slides, and then when you're done, I'll come back up and stand for any questions that you guys might have as trustees. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for having me. My name is Amy Hall. I'm an Idaho native. I was born and raised in Boise. The firm that I work for is Portman Square Group. We'll talk a little bit about what we do. I will say this, if you go out and look for us on the internet and you find our website, it will look very different than the work that we're talking about tonight. There are two sides of the business. One is the intelligence practice, which is more global in scope. And then there's the practice area that I'm representing tonight, which is strategic communications. There are 3 of us who work on that team. All 3 of us are Idaho natives. We have an Idaho City girl, we have a Napa girl, and we have a Boise girl. All of whom went through public education here and have been members of the community for most, if not all, of our lives. So this work is really important to us. I've been working with municipalities in conjunction with Michael Keith for about 1.5 years, really helping to try and connect with residents and with voters and the constituents of whatever that taxing district is, to get feedback from them and to communicate the work that whatever that entity is doing. I will have you go to the next slide. What we've talked about with the district is a two-phased approach, as Jason said. The first phase is really to communicate what the district is doing and also to get feedback from residents and voters about their preferences, their opinions, what they would need from the district in terms of support for a particular bond initiative. We have a variety of methods that we use to reach voters. We use text-based surveys, social media, community forums, a lot of social media through community partnerships, through the district's assets, and we would recommend taking a couple of months to do that. Design a really good survey instrument. It's all electronic so that voters can do it on their phones, which is where most of us do all of our things, whether that's banking or taking surveys. So that's where we find people can reach them really, really well. Take all of that information, but also use it as an opportunity to tell a story. Because it's electronic and it's delivered, it's not delivered on paper, it gives us an opportunity to take more space and to tell voters and residents and constituents what you're trying to accomplish with this potential bond initiative that you might run in the spring. So it's a really nice way to do two-way communication. It's not just tell us what you think, but it's let us tell you the story of what we're trying to accomplish. And it goes back to the things that you referenced when you introduced me, which is there is the need to communicate about the specific bond or project or initiative that the district is running. But it is also an opportunity to communicate the value of public education and the work that you're doing. And so we take that opportunity really seriously so that people know what your goals and objectives are. So we would run a survey, we'd probably leave it open for 3 weeks. Again, I would recommend a variety of different channels to reach people where they are. Again, a lot of the time that's on the phone. But figuring out the number of different ways to let them know that the survey is out there. We often use media for that as well, letters to the editor or press releases to truly try and drive engagement so that we can get to a statistically significant sample. I need to run some of the more detailed voter numbers to get to that, but if we can get there, then you can draw some conclusions about where your community is and what it's going to take to get them from a maybe or a yes into a solidly yes position, knowing that we have to be really careful that we're not advocating, but that we're just educating. And that would lead into, next slide please. Actually, can you go one more and then we'll come back into phase 2 if you decide to do that. To really use what you've learned in the survey and then, pardon me, do the outreach about what the district has decided to do. Again, there's a number of different ways that we do this. We do a lot of digital communication, web, social media. We recommend community forums. I love your point about 120 days because, again, with that supermajority requirement, it's so important to get to people where they are. We can meet them on their phones, but if there are community forums or if there are community presentations that we can do, we strongly recommend that so that you can talk to all of the voters. And having enough lead time is really critical. So I like that point. If you'll go back one more. Thank you so much for serving as my technical support. We've done this throughout the state. We do this with we've got a number of engagements that are currently underway. We're actually working really closely with Wet Data right now to do some community engagement sort of on a more broad planning perspective, not necessarily survey work yet, but it will probably turn into that. But these are the 4 that we've done in the last year and a half. City of Coeur d'Alene, we helped them do a survey and a public engagement campaign for fire bond in May. Again, all 3 of these would have had supermajority requirements. And it is a tough threshold to get to, as all of you are aware of your past experience. So any one of these folks, we could make references for you if you want to talk to any of them. Every one of the either superintendents or fire chiefs or in Ada County's case, the sheriff would be more than happy to serve as references and offer that. So if you want to talk to them about the work that we do, they're happy to engage with you on that. That's the bulk of my presentation, but I'd be happy to answer questions about what we do, how we do it, timelines, those kinds of things. Yes?
On the first slide, it talked about the timeline of September, October, or whatever it was, but it was fast, and you said like we need to kind of communicate what our goal is and what we're going to do, and yet I don't feel like we know what that is. So I guess I'm wondering how we can do that.
We would work really closely with the Capital Planning Committee. Did I get that right? Whatever the new name is of that. To craft a set of questions that just because we don't have a bond specifically that we've decided on or amount or a project, we would gather feedback about what it would take for them to support something in theory, right? And how much information that they would need, and also communicate their engagement with the district. So we can do it and have done it. We're doing it, it's not out yet, but with West Ada, we're taking a similar sort of not project-specific approach, but talking to them about what their values and priorities are. So there's ways to still elicit really good information. If once we get to phase 2, if that ends up being the path that the district decides to go down, we could do another survey and test specific dollar amounts and tax impact in a more focused, shorter survey to that same group of people who responded, or that we sent it out the first time. Not exclusively, but making sure to capture them really deliberately.
And sorry if go ahead if
No.
anyone else has a question. I just wondered, you know, like Assistant Superintendent Reddy talked about like reaching those people that don't have kids in the district. And I feel like many of those are not on social media as much. They don't, you know, they're gonna read the newspaper and then watch the evening news, but maybe not as reachable. So what's your technique to get in touch with them?
Depending on, I would recommend a couple of different things. We've used mailers that go straight to people's homes. Even though those folks that we're talking about aren't on social media, most of them have access to a computer or a smartphone. And so we can do a mailer to their homes with a QR code that takes them where they need to go. Scan it and go, or a link. There will also be links on the district's website. So yes, they're a challenging group of people to meet. The other way we try to get to that population, or those populations who are not connected to the district and following the district social media and or aren't on social media often, would be through community forums. So we would recommend open houses, or going and talking to Rotary, or whatever at an Elks meeting or something like that, so that people have an opportunity to engage.
How does this get around the state law of us not spending district money on trying to get a yes vote for bonds and levies? How does that,
We
Am
do
I
it, no, not at all. There's a line between, and it's a great question, because it's an important distinction. We work, and I don't know, Jason, I'm sorry, Assistant Superintendent Reddy.
You can call me Jason.
I'm not used to it. Who your bond counsel is or would be, and that's something that you and Michael and I can talk about. We very often will work closely with, for example, Holly Troxel or another law firm to make sure that we are adhering to the Public Integrity and Elections Act, and we do it all of the time. Every one of these engagements that was up there was subject to that scrutiny and met it. Because we don't ask for people to support, we are gauging their support, and we are informing them in phase 2 about what you're trying to do. So it's not asking for a yes, it's asking for participation and providing information. But it is an important consideration, and we have a very strict standard legally through that regulatory framework that we are used to adhering to.
Okay.
So along with all these questions that I think are good, like we don't know what we're gonna do, so what are your questions?
Yeah.
How do we reach those people? Are we in the law? How many hours do you spend usually with the capital plan, or whatever we're gonna call it? How much time do you put into it more? I guess that's my question. It's more detailed, but.
As much time as it takes.
Okay.
It varies from engagement to engagement. The development of the surveys and the gathering of all of that information is not something I do in isolation or all by myself. That is absolutely something I would work with Jason on and the capital planning committee to make sure that I've got all of the information. Often, and I don't know if you have a communications officer or Allison, that's right. So we'll work with Allison to gather district-specific information and talk to what you do, your mission, those kinds of things. So a lot. These engagements are pretty time-intensive at the front end.
Well, that's kind of what I want to know.
Yeah.
What, you know, how much are you with them? Or you just kind of drop it, go? I just kind of want to know your commitment to the, yeah.
That's not how I work. That's not how we work.
Okay.
We really, because we want the product to be useful. You know, I could give you a boilerplate survey and you get nothing from it and learn nothing about what your voters.
And you can't, because of the legal, you can't say vote yes
Nope.
on the bond. So you're just
Absolutely
gathering
not.
information for that capital.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And informing them.
and information.
It's an information sharing and an information gathering exercise, whether that's phase 1 or phase 2.
What does something like this service run typically for a school
My
district?
next question.
Maybe you're gonna get to that, but.
Sorry, I missed some of the
Do you want to talk
question.
about costs?
He wants to know how much it costs.
Phase
Yeah.
1, I
The
think.
cost, we're getting to that.
9,000-ish, it's in your board packet. We put it in there, both phase 1 and phase 2 are in there, you can see them split out.
It's typically for both phases between 28 and 35,000 to do both things. But those for our fees. There are also going to be some survey fees for that text-based outreach. I would imagine for a district of this size, it's probably $500, maybe $1,000 to get set up and then run it. And there may be printing costs if we want to do a mailer, for example. That said, we can adjust the phase 2 requirements and commitments and meet a budget number that is both palatable and tolerable for the district while not sacrificing any of the quality. And we can pair through things, and the district can assume a little bit more responsibility for certain items in order to control costs in other areas. So there are ways for us to be flexible with that, depending on what your budgetary and finance needs are. And we often do that.
So you're saying 9,000 for
Just
phase
for
1?
phase 1. I think 92 is what I,
Yeah, I think so,
Okay.
yeah. And that's like she said, if we decide we want to do a direct mail or something too, obviously there's more there, but
We're gonna have to sell the 4th Street Gym to pay for it.
there we go, see, I like it, yeah.
coming full circle.
This is-
Thank God you were here tonight.
That's funny. I do
Or
think,
Monday
you know,
night.
we did hear, you know, when we were working on the supplemental levy, and one of the kind of guiding principles from Superintendent Beckett was, you know, we can't keep doing the same thing and having stuff fail and expect a different result. And so we worked really hard to try to do things differently on the supplemental levy, and it worked. And the previous capital planning group that worked before did great work. They have a great plan. I think there's a lot of good stuff there, but it feels a little bit unwise to me to just take that and say, okay, let's do the same thing and try again. We gotta do something different. And I'm really excited, like, we've had some good conversations. Michael Keith speaks highly of Amy and her organization. I think we could build some really positive momentum from getting this feedback and building this partnership with Portman Square, so go ahead.
I'd like to piggyback on that a little bit, and you alluded to this in the beginning of your sort of introduction, and that is that the rules of engagement are very different now, and they've become different over the last number of election cycles. And it's increased, the burden is already very high in Idaho for the supermajority, and it is becoming more difficult to reach voters and communicate about the benefits not only of the school's plan, of the district's plan, but to combat some of the misinformation that can often be out there, the inability to reach voters, and restore some of that faith in our institutions, education being one of those. So we've seen this often, where projects like this or bond initiatives fail, where they may not have in the past, even with that supermajority requirement. And I think it just speaks to a very different reality that we're all facing when it comes to communications and politics and election cycles. And I think in Idaho, one of the things we've seen, and I know I've seen it, I grew up in Boise, and it was a very different place when I was a kid, and even as a young adult. Our communities don't necessarily, community members don't necessarily have the ties to the district and the community that they used to. So asking them to help fund education for their kids and grandkids and future generations felt a little bit more attainable because they were community members who'd been here for a very long time. We were facing districts where many of your community members might not have any tie to the district and don't know the good work that it does and the value that it brings and the role that it plays, not only in education, but just in community sort of infrastructure. And so with all of those headwinds, engaging with people who live here and aren't connected to the district, and even those who are, to communicate the good work that gets done, the value proposition, to use a business term, that is provided by the district, becomes all that more important. Because you have to tell the story of the work that gets done.
I totally agree with that, and that's been our problem here, is we used to be a community where everybody kind of knew everybody. It was a farming community, and now we have people that have never even been to Kuna yet, but yet they're part of our district, so I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I just have this kind of a comment, but instead of mailers, I know we've used water bill in the past. Has that cost us anything?
Allison, yes.
Okay.
But it's probably less than a mailer.
Oh, yes.
By
Okay.
a significant
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw
margin.
that out there, because
Yeah.
we've done that in the past.
And that would be another great way to reach people.
Yeah, the problem is some people don't get their water bills in online, but those are the people that don't, are the ones you wanna get a hold of sometimes.
And that's why we don't rely on a single
One way.
distribution point. We try and reach people in as many different ways, as many different mediums as we can to control for that.
I think we need to be creative. I think you both have hit on the head that it's not working, we need to do something. But I will say our business community really helped us with the levy, and they were awesome.
And they can often be your best
Awesome.
partners.
Yes.
You know, they can engage, and we typically recommend, I'm sorry, am I going over time?
We're getting
No.
close.
Okay,
but yeah.
sorry, I'll close with, we have found that those community partnerships that exist already between the district and businesses, the district and clubs, club sports, those kinds of things can be a really great way to get the message out. And we often ask for probably Jason or maybe the superintendent to reach out to them and say, we're doing this survey, could you get this to all of your employees? Here's the link. And you send this out, you know, to everybody on your distribution list, or a chamber, and you send this out to all of your members to really get as broad a look into the community as we can.
Okay.
I can be available after this or by email. Jason knows how to get a hold of me if you've got any other questions or want me to come back for anything else.
It always takes time to digest, I have to say that.
Absolutely, absolutely, so I'm happy, I mean,
One of the things I'm excited about, and just last, Amy mentioned, I don't know if you said this or not when you were presenting, but she'll gather the feedback for us and then is willing to come back and
Absolutely.
present that data and those findings to you as well to kind of help, you know, because at some point you're going to be the ones that have to make the decision on what's on the bond and what's not on the bond. So I think it'll be important for you to hear some of that feedback from our community too. We'll also obviously digest that at a deeper level during our not capital planning meeting, whatever we decide to call it, something flashy. But anyway, just wanted to give you an update that there is work happening on this. We have some positive momentum. I think it will help our capital planning group kind of stop spinning our wheels. We're kind of like we're like the hamster on the wheel right now, talking about the same stuff, and I think this will help us get some data to move those conversations forward and really start to get a plan that we can present to you about what we might consider for a bond. Because I feel like we're a little bit behind the eight ball. We're behind. We need to get something done.
As I say, the only negative thing I see is it's hard when you live in a community that has to look at every amount of money. And I look at that and say, ooh, you know, what what are the patrons gonna think
Yeah.
of us spending this to get a bond pass? That's probably the negative I'm thinking, but I'm hoping that it's something we can think about, because we really do need to do something else, in my opinion. So.
I think it meets your obligation to educate about what you're putting on the ballot.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's not that advocacy role, but really it's you're fulfilling your obligation to really make sure that the voters.
They understand what we're doing, why
Exactly.
we're doing it, and that things are changing,
Yeah.
and this is the way we do it. I totally agree with that. I just know
It's-
who my
it's
patrons are.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your time tonight. Again, if you have any questions,
Thank
please
you.
reach out.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much, Amy. Appreciate your time.
Of course.
All right. We're gonna take a look at increasing lunch prices. Manager Swanson?
Hello, everyone. Summer arrived today,
Yeah.
right before school starts. There's our annual look at our prices for meals, and you'll go ahead and go to the next slide, please. I wanted to brag a little bit about our program and what we're doing. We have really, coming out of COVID, we have moved our focus back to scratch cooking, and I'm happy to report that 100% of our breakfasts are now scratch cooked. Now, we're not talking about fresh fruit and juice, we're talking about the entrees. We have no box cereal, we don't do any of that sort of thing anymore. And 80% of our lunch items at the elementary are scratch cooked as well. And I often use Alfredo sauce, and is made from scratch items, not dumped out of a jar or a can. So our staff is doing a phenomenal job learning all the new recipes and implementing that, and we're having really good participation. We've kind of flatlined, not seeing a whole lot of increase, so the same kids are eating with us. But it costs us more to cook from scratch, right? This year, our federal reimbursement, it raised just 2 cents per pay, so it went from 40 cents to 42, and that's the difference that we have to make up. If you'll go ahead and go to the next slide, it will show you that currently, for this year, we will get $4.60 for every free meal that we serve, and we're not even close to that, obviously. This 9 cents that we get is for mainly things that happen in the office and for doing things correctly and following all the rules. And so our total amount per meal is $4.69. When we looked at our weighted average, when we do our PLE that's from the federal government, our target for the, when you average these together, is 401. Last year, in October, we came up to $3.61, but then when we come back and analyze the data in April, it's kind of October and April have very similar numbers. We were able to increase our average to $3.74, and that's when we introduced these premium meals that you guys approved last year. And I'm happy to say that's been very successful. About 80% of the meals that we serve at Kuna High is the premium meal, which has been very interesting. So the kids are really liking that. It's costing our families more, but they're really enjoying those meals. So we're really starting to close this gap. I've done a projection coming into this year. I think our weighted average should be somewhere around 391. So again, we're closing this gap, and that's what the federal government wants us to do. If you'll go to the next slide, please. So here's our proposal for this year. Is raising to $3.55 for elementary. Secondary lunch, just the standard lunch, would be raising it to $4.10. Our premiums would go up a quarter, because that's all the, the bigger hamburger patties, which are made from scratch. And good news, this year we were able to, we're going to be able to purchase our hamburger from CSB Packers. Really excited about that, because that keeps our money here.
You're making hamburger patties, like not buying pre-done patties?
No, we make our own hamburger patties. At the high school level, not at the elementary level, we don't have the staff to do that. And then raising our breakfast prices to $2.45. And our adult prices, we meet the requirement, so we thought we would keep that the same this year and not do an increase, but I suspect we will have to do one next year. The federal reimbursement rates went up 17 cents at the free rate this year. And so, again, we're trying to close that gap a little bit. I stand for questions.
Everything's going up. I mean,
Everything is going up.
Just like our own
Prices went
drive-in
through the
homemade
roof.
burgers.
I know, I know, it sounds great, the scratch thing.
So the number that you're reimbursed, we are reimbursed from the federal government, are for the free meals for those people that qualify for that?
Correct.
And what about reduced lunch prices?
Reduced prices are set at the federal level, so we charge the family 40 cents, and then they make up that reimbursement, back up to that
Okay.
460.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it true that, like, when I was reading through it, and I just want to clarify, like, that federal reimbursement cannot really, like, the reason why we're trying to balance things is because it can't subsidize these prices that people pay for? Is that, I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. That's
And-
one of the reasons,
Yeah.
yes.
And then, can you give an example of what a breakfast is? Just because I'm curious.
Well, it's been a while since I've been through the line.
Yeah.
But they receive milk, fruit, juice, and then whatever the entree is. They're making cinnamon rolls on Tuesday. They're doing a farmer's breakfast, which is, scrambled eggs and vegetables in there, if we can sneak them in. There's homemade muffins. They've got a gauntlet of that. They created a basic recipe, and then they do like maybe a chocolate chip or a blueberry or cocoa, or kind of go with the seasons, and that's been really, really popular. So that's what breakfasts look like. We don't have a lot of kids that eat breakfast, but we have some.
And that's served at all the schools?
Yes.
I can't remember if it's been a couple years ago. There was a pretty big deficit, like, I thought it was like $200,000. People that haven't paid their bills.
For the charges, I'm happy to report that we got it under just a little over $19,000 this year.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Good job.
And is that from collecting owed amounts, or people making donations, or a combination of all
All the
of
above,
that?
all the above. A little bit of hounding,
Yeah.
but we did receive some donations.
Uh-huh.
We got some fairly negative feedback when we had to cross that bridge.
Yeah.
So the deficit at the end of last year was just 19,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't tell you what the change is, but that's right.
Appreciate all the work you're doing. Do I have a motion to accept the lunch pricing?
I make a motion that we accept the provided lunch pricing presented to us by Manager Swanson.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
All right, and I'm an aye.
We've
Thank you.
never had her cinnamon rolls some Tuesday when
I
she
was gonna
makes
say,
them.
like, how much does adult
I know,
prices for
they are
I think
so
it
good.
was 3 something, I was still
Yeah,
trying to
that's a pretty cheap
Something.
cinnamon roll.
$3.15 for adults.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And you have
Appreciate
had
it.
them? Or have you not?
I can't remember, to be honest. My favorite was
You
the
should do it for us for the
potato soup, cheese, and cheese sandwich. It was good. I like that. But anyway,
I wonder if more people will start to buy the lunch, like after they kind of, like, they know it's better now.
Yeah.
that's from
I
scratch.
mean,
and we're doing this month.
I should know, but I don't know if I really registered that. I'm gonna try to talk my middle schooler into it.
There you go. It does save time. All right, we need to hear from Manager Saxton about our bus routes and walk zones for the 25-26 school year.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for hearing from me, Chairman Nixon, trustees. I'm here to ask for the approval for next year's 25-26 school year bus routes. questions about them?
I do have a question, but I think it's been answered, but I just want to double check. I had some patrons that got a hold of me, I don't know if you have anything to do with this, that are now going to be going to Hubbard from Heritage Farms. Do we have crosswalks? My understanding is that there will be crosswalks and that there will be someone out
So
there.
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of my, I couldn't see that in there, but I figured you know.
So if anyone reaches out to us, they think they're over the 1.5 miles, we will go out personally and check it to make sure they have a safe way.
Yeah,
to walk.
this-
Because it looked like we checked most, all of it that I can
Yeah,
remember. But
yeah, well, this patron was concerned about crossing Linder over to Hubbard, or
So
to Hubbard schools.
it does look ugly, but it does fit under the 1.5 miles, but they have to go to, at the time,
Yeah, and then
cross
sidewalk.
up at the light and then come down.
Is there a sidewalk on that
Yes.
side?
Yes. So they go through the neighborhood over here and come out to the crossing guard down here. on
Yeah, because I know
Fort.
when I voted for that, I wanted to make sure the kids were safe. So
Yeah.
with school starting, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that our patrons know
Yeah.
how to do that.
And
So,
they- Yeah, and I'm also working with ACHD for an improvement on the east side on Linder Road.
Okay.
They're still working, and she said they'll get back to me with some engineers to come and give me a call back, and hopefully that's this week.
okay,
And the request was if they could put asphalt down the east side of Linder with some barrier bumpers there. So and have a crossing there at Porter, because, kids are, that's what they want
that's,
to do.
yeah, see, that was my.
They not
concern.
want to go the other way, which is the safe way, but because it does look, it's not they see that,
Yeah.
that's easier way. And that would reduce actually the walking distance, but
Yeah.
we're recommending the other way.
That they go
for now.
clear up and then over and then back. I just want to make sure that we have crossing guards and that that's all being taken care of.
They've got, we just
especially-
ordered like the blinking stop signs like
Great.
you see on Porter and the sign and those little things that light up, in
Yeah.
the dark in the
Yeah.
early morning. We just got that order.
Yeah, and probably 90% of their job will be to train the kids on, they won't be able to stop Linder.
Yeah.
But they'll be able to cross them from Linder. to
Yeah,
Porter.
that's my main concern, so I
So,
just.
yeah,
wanna
and when they
make
went to
sure we
Reed,
do
they
that.
crossed, and then went.
Yes,
over.
yes.
Yeah, to Reed.
Yeah, and that's
It's
what
a
the
little
patron, the
different.
patron said, my kid always made it to read the sidewalk all the way, crossing guard, now I'm not sure, and so I just wanna make sure that we're
There will be-
providing that,
yeah.
yeah.
And we can help them understand where the safe walking is. They didn't
Yes,
understand that.
yes.
Absolutely.
Might be something to do open house night or something, let people know, so. All right, do I have a motion to accept the bus routes and walk zones for the school year 25-26?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, got a third, but that'll work in the
Oh,
other. Any other discussion? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
And Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we're good.
Stay here. She's gonna hate this. I'm gonna I just wanted to acknowledge, this is Brenda's last time giving the crosswalk.
no.
Brenda, I mean, the
Oh.
bus route zone, and just how lucky we've been when you watch our neighbors and not to, when you talk about homemade meals, we have homemade bus routes and homemade bus trips and homemade everything in the bus.
Yeah.
Whether we can continue doing that or not, we'll obviously have to have a replacement for Brenda. We get her till January. She promised she'd stay through January.
You gotta do some tugging there.
Yeah, you did. Well, first of all, congratulations, and you will be missed, and your experience will be missed. You've done a lot of years here. How many years have you been here?
10 years here, 25 in the other district.
Wow.
Yeah, I looked through those.
So,
and
thank you for your
I
service.
felt like it was complicated and tricky, and I was like, this looks great, I don't know.
Yeah.
I trust
Great
you.
team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, she can plan it all out. She has nothing to do with road construction, so you can't
Right.
blame her for
No, no.
But we try, when we hear the complaints and the concerns, I reach out and see what we can do. Like last year, I had a special needs student, couldn't get to the bus stop, and it was an awkward. ACHD did a wonderful job. They helped me get a good platform put out there as quickly as possible and to make improvements for this young man. So,
Oh, that's great.
So we try to stay on it.
Well, thank you. I hope your retirement will be wonderful.
It's a long
Scary and
ways away.
exciting.
Yeah. No, it's something we look at. Countdown. Anyway, thank you so much, Brenda. Appreciate your service.
I know, Brenda is for sure.
Yep, yep.
Hopefully a new person will still let me borrow the short bus.
Well, you're good
better
tonight,
put your
JD.
request in now, JD.
You're on a roll tonight, JD. So-
I did borrow it a couple times.
We'll make sure it's in the contract.
And we will come in September's agenda with the process of how do we replace a Brenda, and what do we look at, and what do you guys want us to look at? Is it as simple as hire a replacement, or is there things you guys want us to look at? We'll be ready for September for that. I stand for, I think there's 6 amended policies. Do you guys have any questions or anything that we need to fix?
I have no questions on that. Anybody?
7.
Okay, do I have a motion to pass this first bank of
I make a motion that we
policies?
pass the first reading of policy 216, 280, 350, 352, 400, 403, and 544.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion on any of these? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also. All right. There you go. No, those are the ones we just passed, right?
Yeah, so it should be these are down.
That was not. We have it here.
It should be
I believe we
314, 403, 912.1, and 912.E,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah,
have a
that
question
one.
about those. So I did have some questions about, I believe it was 912.1.
The procedure.
Yep, the procedure, if you open it up, and we're considering, oh wait,
Yeah.
is that the
Is
one
it-
going?
Yeah,
Is that
you
the one
guys-
that tells?
The display of flags and banners, school property procedure.
Okay, so is that the procedure, how we're?
912.1.
The committee.
Yeah, that's the
okay, that's my
procedure.
question.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, if you click on it, I don't know.
You wanna know,
so, yeah, I talked to Hillary a little
Okay.
bit. I guess I shouldn't have said that, but we talked.
We're allowed to talk
Yeah,
about
we're
it.
talking,
Yeah.
okay, good. It was prior, anyways. Committee,
Mhm.
my question was, you had, I believe, a patrons, 2 or 3 patrons? Trying to remember now.
Trying to
You
find
had-
it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's under the
Oh, up
review
one.
process, a little bit, it's close to the top,
Yeah.
that the district review.
Right,
committee will
right there.
consist- Yeah.
Superintendent or designee, no less than 3 parents, 1 district instructional support staff member, which I think is great. So some of my questions are, why did we not decide on a board member? Is there a reason for that?
Because ultimately, just like the library,
It comes to
so
us.
it'll come to you for a final decision if we can't come to an agreement.
Okay, so that was my first question. Second question, will this be a committee that stays the same, or will it be a ever-changing committee?
So we honestly modeled it exactly like the library, just so our patrons had the same procedure, whether it was a library book or it was we felt like both of them should be instructional. There's a poster on the wall, banner on the wall, it should be instructional, just like a book on the library. So we modeled it just like that.
And then I noticed you have a superintendent or designee, I'm having trouble saying that word tonight. Why is there not a teacher, or is that the support staff member?
This is it, because it didn't work at the building level, so the complaint went to the building, the building decision and the person doing the complaint weren't in agreement, so now it comes to committee, so it comes.
Right,
So
but-
exactly the same as the way the library does.
Okay, I'm just
Sure.
wondering, since a teacher usually will be
Yeah,
out there.
ideally, maybe at the very beginning stage, I'm a parent and I don't like I question the banner.
Right.
Hopefully I go to the teacher first.
Right.
It isn't
I'm just
solved,
saying a
then it goes
teacher
to
at
the admin.
large being on that committee.
Well, I think if it's about a teacher's poster, it's probably better not to have a teacher on it.
Yeah,
Well, but that's,
Sure.
then the opposite would be, they have input to like whether that would be good or not, what the teacher was thinking, that's all
I
I'm
think we
saying.
also felt like we didn't want to pit teacher against
Right.
teacher.
That's a good
So
point,
what's a voting member?
those people that are there.
That would be the sorry.
No, yeah.
No, you're
we're saying that people that are on the committee would
Oh,
vote.
they are voting members.
Yeah, so you're gonna get like a 4-1, 3-2, 5-0.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully in the world, we all get to that, we all agree with it.
No, that's why I just like to ask these questions to
Absolutely.
see where you're coming from.
So just, can I add on to that a little bit?
Mhm.
So the way I read it, does it come to the board with their decision and then we make the final decision, just like the library? Because that's maybe not the way I thought I read it,
Okay.
but, does it come to, like, if that committee comes to a consensus, then does it come to the board with that recommendation? Or is that where it ends unless they can't come to it?
I think the committee, if they still feel that the patron still feels like they disagree with the committee's decision, then it would come to you. And similar to the book, then the designee would share what the resolution was, and the patron would get an opportunity to still say how they disagree with the committee's decision, and then you guys would ultimately get to say if you agreed with the resolution, the resolution the committee brought
Yeah.
forward, or if you felt like it was.
So this is a little different than the way that the library book one works, because that always comes to the board once they find their recommendation, and this could be resolved prior to coming to the board,
Okay.
I think.
And not having Kevin, because Kevin gets to be our designee for both of these, not
Yeah.
having his expertise.
He had to go to a
I know. I'm
Um,
hearing it. So you
So
guys
that's
would like
how
us
you-
to double
you
check?
read it, that it doesn't have to come to the board if these guys say.
And the same with the library, you feel like
I
it
didn't
didn't
read it.
have
No,
that
the
way?
library does, but this, tell me if I'm wrong, did anybody else read that?
I didn't get that from it, I thought it would come
Well,
to
let
the
me see
board.
if I
but
can
maybe-
make
But our goal was to
Yeah.
make a match, so a patron would have the same product. Instead of having 8 different
Yeah.
processes, that gets very confusing for all.
Well, and the
Where are
way-
you seeing, where is it?
I'm gonna try to read it, because I
Okay.
could have missed
I guess,
it.
yeah, I read it as it comes to the board
Yeah.
Okay.
after
Yeah.
the committee's review.
That's
So
what
the
I
committee
understood
makes a
you saying.
recommendation and brings it to the
Yeah.
board, and then and they can like both present, like the
Yes.
teacher that's got the banner in controversy or whatever.
Yeah, if the teacher's still,
If
if
they want
they're in a
to.
disagreement, or the patron's in disagreement, absolutely.
Oh, right, like, so it could be a parent that creates
Yep.
an issue,
Yep.
and then, so the parent could speak,
Yep.
and the teacher, and then a committee member, and then the board makes the decision? Okay. Yeah.
So
That's the way
in-
I interpret
Yeah,
it.
that's
In the
good.
resolution, it says, upon completion of the committee's consideration, a written recommendation shall be forwarded to the board by the superintendent.
Okay,
So I'm
perfect.
assuming that means it comes to us
Yeah.
and we have the final decision. Okay.
I make a motion that we adopt the following policy at 314, 403.1, 912.1, and 912E.
Well, I'm not quite ready, I did have another question.
Okay, go for it.
And I don't know if it's here or it's the other one, but it talks about displaying flags and banners, but then it talked about shirts. And I wasn't sure where that came from. Is that on this one, because we talked
No,
about?
it's not on this
It's
one.
on the next one?
This is the procedure for.
For what we're doing, so, okay. So if you go to the other one, 912E,
Did you want to,
that was my only question, and you answered all the ones I had.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was so fine with that one.
so that is the form.
Yeah.
Right,
that we
And is that
use.
where it is? Oh, yeah, personal items such as pins or shirts worn by students.
yeah. That was my question, and then where it says, we'll take that one first.
Like, do we have to really be, does this, like, I guess, what
Right.
I was wondering is like that it's like second to the bottom on that graph.
Personal items such as pins or shirts worn by students.
And like, isn't that handled at a school level? Oh, I guess if the student wants to keep
Dress
wearing it,
code,
like
yeah.
over and over again, is that what it is?
I thought that, yeah, I
Like,
didn't know the reason for that. Is that state law?
Is that what the law said? Okay, yes.
So the state law has to do shirts.
Yep.
Okay,
For students, as long as they follow the dress code.
but like but teacher shirts, we take no issue with, that's like within policy of like.
There's nothing
whatever.
written in the law
No.
about
Okay.
staff shirts.
Good.
I just didn't want it to be extra on teachers to go around, okay, you're not wearing the right
Right.
shirt, you're wearing the right shirt, and but if it's law, then it's law, and I get that.
But do
So
you
that was
kind
my
of think
question.
this is, it's like they don't really have to do it, it's just if somebody wants to create
Correct.
If you
a
get the
complaint
complaint.
about
Yeah,
that particular
yeah,
shirt.
Yeah.
If you go back up, on that one where it says who's doing, Kuna School District parent, Kuna School District student, Kuna School District staff. I'm curious, there might be an other, person, and I don't know who it would be or what it would be,
Kuna
so.
School District patron.
Well,
Or just
it could just be it could be a grandma who came into the school and saw something. So I was wondering if we should have like an other or something.
But are we going to take complaints from anyone but these people?
I don't know, see, is that law?
Do we have to? Or are
We
these
should
the only ones we
definitely
have to
do
hear
the
from?
legal guardian here.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can do that.
So I'll-
Yeah, I just, well.
It has to be within our district.
So it has to be someone, so like, let's just say some patron came in to pick something up. It doesn't count that they can complain.
If they're not a legal
I just
guardian
Yeah.
to a student, then
Like if they have no connection to the
Correct.
school via a student or a job, then they can't.
Then they can't complain.
Okay.
Well, that answered that question too, thank you very
I
much.
just have one more thing on that form, like where it says, please check which areas we believe have violated the banner or poster. And then it says like political party, race, gender, sexual orientation, political ideologies. I can kind of come up with in my head like 3 or 4 others that maybe could be there, but I wonder if we just want to put like other, like if religion's not on there, or, I don't know. So I don't know, like, I'm fine with it, but I just think maybe somebody's gonna wanna write something in that doesn't.
But if
belong
it's
there.
by the law, they have to, are these the ones
Yeah,
that
are
hit
these
the
the
law?
only ones?
That hit the
I'm
law?
thinking that religion is the only other one that I can think of that might be in the law.
So making
You
sure
put something
these,
religious on
Yeah,
the
but what
wall?
if you're, like,
Religious
let's
is
say you go
part
to
of it.
church and you're wearing your church thing.
Well, but it's just like a banner on the wall, like your
Banner.
t-shirt, you can wear.
That's what I'm saying, if it's on the shirt too, I don't know. I
We
guess.
can just make sure those boxes
Make
that
sure
you have
these follow the
everything
law.
signed.
Yeah, as long
And
as
you're
they
right,
follow-
the
Make sure they
religious
follow
one is
the law.
missing.
Yeah, that's it, okay.
And that's all I had for those two, so I just had those questions. So go ahead, do we have a?
second.
Okay, all right. And is there any further discussion?
For clarity, was this the only one that had errors that, or corrections that we need, you guys need to see the
Other
second?
than
reading?
like
Yes.
typing.
The
issues,
typing
were
errors.
typos.
The formatting issues.
All right,
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
all 3 of those should
She's
come back
aware
for
of it.
second reading,
Okay.
standalone, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Not
All
to
right.
call you out, I just
No.
wanted.
all right.
We won't throw anyone under the
Grammarly.
bus.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Who made the
first on that? Sorry. It was
JD.
JD, and Mike was a second. Any other discussion?
No.
Okay, Kirsty?
I,
And Michael?
Aye.
And JD?
Aye.
And Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
So 3 of them will come back for second reading. That's standalone.
Isn't it 2?
That, there were some errors that they did call out
That-
publicly in the 544 that will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are a few errors typing that need to be taken care of. All right, and the next was organizational strength, second reading for policy 632 and 912.
So 632, it was, you guys passed it as a first read, but it was mismarked by me. That it was 630 and it was open enrollment. So the only change was we got, now it's the
Right
correct number and it's the
policy.
correct place. Nothing in the policy was changed. We can click on it if you'd like to see. But it was a second read, we just wanted to.
And
It
then
was the
nine-
missing policy for about 3 days and then we figured out what it was.
We said it wasn't missing.
Both Deanne and I were both right.
All right. It's nice that you're both right. Can I say I love it when no
That's
one's
all that
wrong?
matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
And the only change on 912 is to cross out public.
Yeah, and especially with the go-on banners, posters, we have a lot of teachers that wouldn't be able to display their university. This is not part of the law. And I don't know why public was there.
Nobody really does.
And then down at the bottom, there's cross-reference to the 2 new policies as well. So those are the only changes.
All right, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the second reading of policies 632 and 912.
And do I have a second?
a second.
All right, did you decide who you wanted on that second? And is there any other discussion? All right, and Kirsty?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye also. All right, consent agenda. Do I have a motion that we accept the consent agenda?
Well, I just had a question, school financials was not linked here, so we were unable to review it.
What's not in it?
The school financials isn't
financials.
linked, it's not blue.
There is no change, because there's no school.
Okay.
There's no change.
They haven't
So we
collected.
didn't have anything added in there.
Ah, great.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a,
Second.
okay. Any other discussion? All right, Kirsty?
Aye.
He's beating you, Michael. And JD?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
And I'm aye also. All right, and now for the good of the order. New teacher orientation is August 12th through the 14th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. At Swan Falls High School. Welcome back staff is August 19th at 8 a.m. at the K-PAC. First day of school is August 21st, 2025. I just have to tell you, I went by Nampa on Monday, they're in school. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Tomorrow
that's
or
early.
later.
Yeah.
Kim,
And-
could
yes.
I, on that first day of school, on the 21st and possibly the 22nd last year, we invited some of you to go with us. And we'll split up, and I could email you guys, I could email you on Friday and say, could any of you come with us on the 21st and 22nd we'll split up and go visit schools?
Okay, great.
All right,
I'll do it.
okay.
I'm gonna back up to welcome back staff, August 19th. I may not be able to attend that, so be ready, JD. I'm hoping to, 100%, but my mom's not doing good and I may have to be in Roseburg, so I will keep you in the loop. And now, Zone 3 and 4, trustee election, November 4th. Our deadline for submission is August 29th, 2025. And then the 2025 ISBA Annual Convention, November 12th through 14th. I highly recommend that if whoever the new trustees are, is that something that they can also attend? Okay, so then, just wanna.
Figure something.
Okay.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
You are on a roll tonight. I love it. Okay. First and second, and is there any other discussion? Kirsty, do you vote yes?
I do.
Michael?
Yes.
And JD? And
Are
Hillary?
you sure, Mike?
And I'm an aye.
This
So,
cool.
thank you.